So thank you for attending our last event today of the inaugural Laker Leadership Conference. I'm so pleased you could stay with us today and just hear back from some of our attendees today. So my name is again Jessica Mueller. I'm Associate Director of Alumni Engagement, and it gave me great pride to showcase our incredible alumni, friends of the university, employers, sponsors during these last 2 days. Again, they were all hand selected and selected for purposeful reasons so that you could have the best kind of leadership experience here and pick and choose what works really best for you and where you're at in your life. So thank you so much for bringing something special to the table, all of our speakers, and I have much gratitude for the last 2 days. So you heard from our speakers on positive belief in yourself, how to do brand and market your persona online and otherwise, business development. We talked about diversity and equity, inclusion, accessibility in our daily lives and our workplace, lifelong learning, mentorship, leadership, and mentorship, all the ships, burnout and salary negotiation, turning talent into treasure, paired with the generosity of self and service. We also had some great laughs for those who joined us last night for the comedy night. It was so funny. I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time. So that was amazing. So we want to hear about all of your experiences, but I've invited a few of my friends, your friends now. Actually, we are friends. Like before today. To share their experiences today, but do please look for the event survey that will go out post-event. I can't say it will be tomorrow. I'm hoping to rest tomorrow, but maybe Thursday. So we'll just get started. And I'm gonna go sit over there. Give me a moment and we'll kind of just have a conversation. So thank you to Joya, Sanaya, Ashley, Jared. And we'll just kind of popcorn around for a few questions here. First, just all of you can go and say a little bit about yourself, your education, current work, hobbies. Okay, Jared, let's start with you.
So my name is Jared Fitz-McCarty, and I'm the Director of Development and Strategic Fundraising here at Roosevelt. I'm a proud alumnus of the Chicago College of Performing Arts. I completed my master's degree in opera in 2011. And now I somehow am the Director of Development. So I've been at Roosevelt for about 10 years, and I'm very excited to see today's event. And to me, it's been amazing to see that there are so many alumni who really are doing wonderful things in their communities and are the experts within their professions, and that we can bring that together and share that information with others. And I don't have hobbies. No, I do, but I feel like I work a lot. So I have taken away that I need to focus on work-life balance.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Agron. I'm actually a friend of the university through Jessica. We used to work together at Northeastern Illinois University, where I still work. I'm the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations. Through LinkedIn networking and seeing Jessica post it and realizing that the conference was open to friends, I said, I will be there. I don't know how I ended up in alumni relations. You kind of just get there in development and alumni world. You don't think you'll go into it, but I love it. I'm a double alum of the university that I work for, and my hobbies, it's whatever my 5-year-old wants to do. So his favorites are Target and Buffalo Wild Wings. So every day, that's what he asks for.
It's okay, I'm loud. Okay, hi everybody, my name is Sanaya. Oh, never mind. I don't have to be loud anymore. But I'm a current student at Roosevelt. I'm trying to get my degree in psychology. Next semester is supposed to be my last. I don't have an established career like everybody else, so I'm just a student currently. But I'm trying to get into the PsyD program here at Roosevelt. And hobbies. Oh, I play The Sims when I'm not doing actual work. So I guess that's my only hobby. Sims, the game? The Sims. I work with alumni services though. Sorry.
Well, hi everyone. Oh, I'm loud too, so I'm trying not to blast you. My name is Joya Callaway. I'm really excited to be here. What can I tell you about me in just about 60 seconds? So I have about 9 years of diverse experience in development. Beyond that, I started here at the Auditorium Theater many years ago. For the last 4 years, roughly, I was serving here as development specialist in our wonderful human and community renewal department downstairs for the RU Life Skills Reentry Program. That's when it really lit my fire about development and really helping those, helping others. I'm really passionate about that. I have a bachelor's in organizational leadership from Roosevelt, as well as a master's in organizational development, also from Roosevelt. I feel like Roosevelt will always be home for me. I'm very excited to be here. I'm a mommy, Randy Janae, she's 4. She's swimming and she's doing all of these great things, and I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I don't like to talk much about myself, but I'm really happy and I love people, and I'm just very passionate about all things development. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Joya. So if you want to just share shortly then, why did you decide to attend the conference?
Oh, wow. I feel like this was really a mission of like victory and a place of defeat for me. Not necessarily in a bad way. I thought it was really important for me to come back home and share some of the things that I've learned and I've been doing. If you've seen some of the posts about XOP Consulting, that's me, that's my new business venture. Aside from my full-time gig, that's something that I'm really passionate about. I'm just very passionate about giving back. I know when I was here, I wish there were more opportunities like this conference, and I'm so excited. So Jessica, every year, sign me up. I'm so excited, yeah.
So I went.
So I was going to attend outside of already having to come for work, but I was looking at like some of the people on like the website, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to, okay, they can give some tips and tricks, you know? And so, especially the LinkedIn, because I really, thank you, Nancy, but because I really didn't even know how to navigate LinkedIn at all. And I was like, what is this? And so, because that was not something like really taught to me in high school or like any time in my like college career. I think because of COVID, I like missed a lot of access to a lot of like connections that I was supposed to get in my first 2 years, that I had to like I felt like I was rushed to hurry up and create connections outside of my field and within my field, and being a transfer student to Roosevelt because I got my associates early on. But yeah, so I wanted to come anyway, but I'm happy I stayed the whole time because I was gonna come for a few highlights, but it was wonderful. Like,
Jerry, why did you come today or for the conference?
So as Jessica likes to remind me, the fact that I am an alumnus of Roosevelt is actually more important than the fact that I work here. But to go along with that, I truly do think that it's very important for us to all find opportunities to continue to learn, but most importantly, not to only learn through picking up a book or by reading the newspaper or whatever, watching YouTube videos. I think it's very important to learn from other people who are in an in-person setting. We talked about this in my session yesterday, that I don't really believe that it was the pandemic that drove people to rely on Zoom or virtual events. I think that's really where the world was going beforehand, and the pandemic just happened to be the straw that broke the camel's back. But I think that if anything, this really showed me the value of when you are in person and you are able to have one-on-one conversations with people. by asking questions, you can always learn something from them. And that's very important. And that's ultimately why I'm here, is to meet people I otherwise would not have the opportunity to do so through a computer screen.
I'm always looking for professional development opportunities, and I've seen it on LinkedIn. So the power of LinkedIn is there. You know, the resources that
They
are
aren't-
shared there.
they
Please
aren't
take
paying
advantage
us.
of them. In our industry, there's usually like really expensive conferences like CASE, where we say the acronym is really for copy and steal everything. So being that I work at Northeastern, I was like, well, I'm gonna go to Roosevelt and see what they're doing. I'm gonna copy and steal everything over there. I know Jessica puts on phenomenal work just from working with her previously. She's a great mentor to me. I handle our young alumni at Northeastern, and I'd really like to revamp the professional development that we provide there. So I just came here to soak up all the ideas of the great things that Roosevelt does.
Hey. So Jared, you mentioned meeting people. Did you meet anybody new during your time?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that I met Rhapsody today because I moderated her session. And if you aren't certain who Rhapsody is the current executive director of the Chicago Jazz Philharmonic. She graduated from the Chicago College of Performing Arts Management program in 2018. And I always love being able to connect with people who are fellow CCPA alums, especially when I see that they are alums who have accomplished careers in areas outside of performing, perhaps. Because one of the things is that sometimes we always think of, okay, well, how are the skills of a musician or a performer transferable over to other careers? But there's living proof that our alums are very successful in that area. But her session was very important to me for the fact that she talked about really what her personal obstacles and accomplishments have been for the first time as an executive director. And a lot of it has to do with internal reflection. And I think she was very good in sharing stories that sometimes in your career, you may not know exactly what you're doing, and that's okay. And part of your success is being able to say, I might make mistakes, but I'm willing to try because I feel that I have something to offer to the situation. And so to summarize, what I would say to all of you is, in leaving the conference, really ask yourself, what were 2 or 3 things that motivated me to do something different in my work? And how can I help improve the lives or the organization that I work for otherwise?
Meet someone new?
Well, like one thing I really enjoyed was seeing a lot of the alumni come and be like the speakers for the conference, because I went to the one, I can't remember the exact name of the brand, but the smoothie brand that like got us the juice and it was delicious. But I actually had already been there before. I didn't even know like who owned it or that they were alumni at Roosevelt. And I think I went there my first semester at Roosevelt. So it was good. So, and I was like, oh, okay. And I just assumed because like being downtown, it fit the atmosphere of like all these like kind of like restaurants that were like new, but I never really heard of them, but I figured they were already established. So just to see like the professionalism produced by a Roosevelt alumni made me feel like, okay, I'm gonna be straight after I graduate. But also like meeting other like peers and like former students, I guess now, or current students. And it's crazy, I didn't get nobody's name, but I was kicking with them at the table. But anyway, like meeting young professionals that come to this conference, and we were talking about how we were surprised that like more students didn't like come, and then we were also talking about how we were shocked this was the first year because it was so good. And like it just made me realize, like, you know how you have to surround yourself with like-minded people, and like I viewed them as like young adults who also are trying to excel their professional and expand their mind, like this professional careers. And so I was like, okay, I need to get close with them. So, you know, we got each other's social media, you know, so we can stay in connection. And when I get my LinkedIn figured out, we're gonna follow each other there. Okay.
I think for me, and it was kind of like bittersweet because seeing some of my LinkedIn connections here at Roosevelt, like meeting you, Jessica and Jared and Nancy. It's nice to see you in person. I wish I had these connections while I was here. But it's so nice to meet you all in person. And I also met someone named Natalia. She was very nice in one of the sessions that I attended. A Miracle, she was such a beautiful spirit. She's not here now. Oh, there you are. Hey, Miracle. Hey. I was looking for your old seat. So yeah, very, very exciting and wonderful networking experience for me, especially just to see that the Roosevelt University family just on a different end. So.
I was like the introvert in the back of the room since I wasn't a Roosevelt, but everyone that I did interact with was very welcoming and warm, and we had great conversations. I talked to people who used to work at Northeastern too, so I was like, hey, I recognize you just from seeing like the pop socket on her phone. It's at Northeastern. So I was like, okay. I think I met with someone named Natalia or Natasha. She was great, and we talked yesterday and then recapped our conversation today. And then I believe one of the moderators, I wanted to talk to him, but I know we're connected on LinkedIn, but we've never met in person. We're just connected through industry. You know, you kind of just follow everyone who's in the same boat as you. And then I heard his name and I was like, I know that name. Where do I know it from? And then as I'm revamping my LinkedIn during the sessions, I was like, that's who he is. He was there and I didn't even go say hi to him, and I should have, but I did recognize someone's name.
Actually, I'm
I
sorry. You were my first
Yeah,
friend
yeah,
here.
we were talking together.
Yeah.
That was fun. We had lunch together.
It's a small world,
Yeah.
especially in higher ed. Things to keep in mind. Two things. Never talk badly about people in your industry because it's a small world. But hopefully you utilize the directory in the back of the program book just to go back and like make note of people that you want to connect with on LinkedIn, so that you can expand your connection. But also, like, it's very cool that now we get to see people in person that we already were connected with. What's that thing like 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon? 6 degrees? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Yeah, it's less in this. It's less, definitely in higher ed.
Absolutely.
Like 2. But I generally think that this world is very, very small and interconnected place. You know, we live in a metro area and a global world. So, what would you say? What would you say was the most beneficial takeaway or the thing that most impressed you during the conference?
Okay, I learned you gotta wait till it turn green before you start talking. Okay, so I already mentioned it like 12 times. You know I was gonna say, Nancy, I'm looking dead at you. But no, when I went home yesterday, I got on the phone with my boyfriend. I was like, you need to fix your LinkedIn because Nancy said it's supposed to look like this and it don't look nothing like that. I just looked you up, and because all of a sudden overnight I became an expert in LinkedIn. I made an account in the room with Nancy, and all of a sudden I was an expert. And I was like, Nancy said you're supposed to get endorsements and on your skills, and then so like he was like, oh, he's really, he really consumed the knowledge I give him. That's why we date. But so he was like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Like, and so because some of the sessions weren't necessarily like necessarily aligned with like what I thought I would be doing in my career. So I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily gonna be beneficial to me, but I knew people who couldn't make it, who wanted to come, who I invited, or people who just, like my boyfriend don't go to Roosevelt, so I ain't invite him. But but anyway, so I was like, oh, this could be beneficial for like somebody else. But I felt like the LinkedIn thing, I was like, oh, I gotta get all my people up because they don't even know what they're doing. And then even like the main session with our key speaker was really helpful as well. I feel like Nancy and her kind of said a lot of similar things. But I was like, I just feel like I got more of an in-depth tutorial again. And I was like, okay, I'm keeping that in the back of my mind and stuff, and like thinking about all these other people it applies to in my life so that I can also spread that knowledge to them. So that was my favorite part.
Wow, I'm trying to remember everything. So Eduardo, he made some very key points or kind of highlighted some things that I already knew, but I think I forgot that leadership is a process. And it's so hard for me to accept that sometimes because as an activator, I want things to go right now. I want to make change. I want to implement change. Even Dr. Elizabeth, the things she was saying in regard to diversity efforts, just kind of withholding the need to kind of create content now and get that message out now. Everything was kind of speaking to me on that sense of urgency, especially as it relates to the burnout. So just finding that encouragement there, even with Brett and the things that he was sharing in his pursuit of entrepreneurship, just making that leap and taking that jump. I think there were so many different jewels that I really don't have a favorite part. I just really enjoyed kind of taking things in. You know, sometimes when you're coaching, you're always kind of giving a lot of yourself away. And then I felt like with this conference, there was a lot poured back into me. So I really appreciate that. Great job, Jessica.
Oh. It's a village, but thank you.
My number one takeaway is I don't do yoga because
This morning I was reminded basic yoga in the chair. I probably need to start stretching
a little more often.
Actually, you mentioned Eduardo. So yesterday, Eduardo, in his presentation, really talked about one of the strengths of leadership. And to clarify, the importance of distinguishing leadership from managing.
Mm-hmm.
He really pointed out that everybody has the opportunity to come to work on a day-to-day basis and to be a leader. And then you can be a leader that inspires other individuals to do things without having to be their direct manager or tell them. So that was an important distinction. But one of the things that he pointed out was the role of motivation. And if we can understand what motivates ourselves to enhance our career and to go to work each day and really ask ourselves the question of why are we here and why do we do what we do, then we can all be more successful. But it's not even important of just asking yourself what motivates you, but
Understanding what motivates your coworkers as well. Because when we understand what motivates our coworkers, we can then also work with them to be more productive.
Ashley? I like that you have note cards there.
I did. I had to go back and like read through my notes of what I wrote down because I
love
didn't
that.
want to miss a beat. But I will say it was a great conference. There was so many great sessions, and I'm so glad that they're recorded and I could go back to watch the ones that I couldn't go to because at one point I was just in front of that card like, what room do I go to? I want to be at both right now. The question of why we do what we do and like, what's your passion? Like, it's never really been asked to me, and I never really thought about it. Like, I like what I do. I enjoy the work. It wasn't until I was in Dr. Haywood's session where he started talking about his story. And it was just such an inspirational story. And I was like, oh, you had a grandmother who did this in the neighborhood. My grandmother was the same age. She was doing that in Pilsen, and she inspired me to do that stuff. And I am nowhere near accomplished as Dr. Haywood, for sure. He is beyond a reach I probably will never get to. But just his story and like the similarities of how we grew up, it was inspiring. I was like, that's where my passion comes from. That's why I do the things that I do. That's why I like the work that I'm in and helping others and making sure people have access to resources and things like that. I will say my favorite session was with Davina and the 4 pillars of success. I realized after going home and doing some real self-reflection, I do stand in my own way of achieving that next level of success a lot. I think during the session, I asked the question, like, when you're writing out the pros of, you know, deciding what you're going to sacrifice in life, how do you turn off that voice of the cons of don't do it that make you scared? And I was even scared to ask the question, but behind me, I heard so many other people in the room like, yes, how do you do that? That's the question. I was like, oh, I'm not the only one in this boat. So just everything that she was saying, I probably wrote it down word for word, and I'm gonna go home and make a vision board and just X people out of my life. And like, you know what? I've matured. You're not on that level. I'm going. You can stay behind, and let's get with the like-minded people.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
to
Yeah,
that real quick. So one of the things I think also I noticed was all of the presenters made an effort to point out that they at some point in time have not had the same confidence that they have today. And I think that that is important to show that everybody develops as a professional organically at your own rate. And it's not really a fair expectation of being able to say, here's somebody else who is the same age relatively to me, who has been in the same industry in the same position for the same amount of time, but yet I feel that I'm lesser or more accomplished than them. And I think it really brings to sight that maybe sometimes there's too much competition, and the competition of needing to compete with others versus if we more so shift the conversation of how am I ultimately functioning to my full potential? And if we focus more so on that and working together, then we could probably accomplish much more in a much more healthy professional environment.
Yeah, I think that goes back to, well, there's a thread that goes through all of these, but that I think that to me goes back to Mel's conversation about your the abundance mentality, or when you're working out, you're looking at people like, why can't I lift that amount? Why is that person stronger than me? Why can't I lose weight? Like, this is all that negative self-talk. But at my gym, for instance, we say, I can't yet, right? I can't yet do it, but I'm going to keep working at it and my own potential. And one day, perhaps I'll get there. Maybe one day I won't, because I have other things that are a priority at the time. So it's okay. It's all okay. Yes. Nice. You don't have to turn them on and off.
I just want to say, like, seeing all of these, like, I don't want to say adults because that's not like I'm not grown, but people who are established in their careers go to the conference meetings as well. Even people who were speakers go to other meetings as well and participate and ask questions. Made me feel like, okay, I'm with these people who are already like comfortable in their field or like excelling in their careers. So I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. I really liked that. I felt like I was like, okay, we're all asking questions and we're all a part of this and we're all in a learning process, because it made me feel like, okay, so it's not, I know it's not going to stop, but it's like, okay, I want to go to more conferences. You know what I mean? Now I want to like seek out conferences and stuff. Like, I think that was
got the itch. You got the itch. Yeah. That's what you say, like when you get like addicted to, you know, well, it's probably, now I see why I shouldn't have said that. It's probably not a good terminology to use. I see.
I'll let you ask your question first, though, because
Oh, you want to ask a question?
no, I just had something to kind of piggyback on.
Oh, no, go ahead.
You sure? Yeah, I just feel really led to say I'm listening to Ashley and everyone, and they're expressing, you know, how everyone's taking their time to kind of self-reflect and discover, you know, what your purpose is. And I want to encourage you to really take time to understand what your natural talents and abilities are, right? And don't ever feel defeated, like how he spoke on, not he, Jared, how you spoke on the fact that there's this sense of competition instead of collaboration, but understand what your natural talents and abilities are, and then you'll be able to maximize your potential in the way that you show up at work and the things that you love. And my personal coaching model, I'll just give this to you because I just can't sit here and not say anything, is to do away with everything you convinced yourself you should be, discover who you authentically are, and become the best version of that person. So if it doesn't look like what this other person is doing, so what? Just make sure that you are fulfilling your purpose and that you are living out your dreams. And the last thing that I'll share with you, sometimes you'll be given a lot of assignments, right? This job may not have worked out for you, and that might have been the job of your dreams. And this relationship may not have worked out for you, and that may have been the relationship of your dreams. But your purpose goes with you. The assignment may change or end, but your purpose goes with you. So I just want to really just share that with you. And I want you to kind of keep that as a reminder. Your purpose goes with you, even if the assignment changes.
Hmm.
So
That's beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna change up the last question. I'm gonna sort of, okay. What's one thing you learned at this conference that you will do when you get home in the next week? Okay, by next Tuesday, what will you have done that you learned today or to learn from the conference? Would you say?
why?
Besides fix your LinkedIn, because that was just part of the conference.
So, who was it? Davina had said it too. That one day a week, she does not turn her computer on.
Ooh.
So I will still go to work and be present, but I know that there are so
Ooh.
many things in my office that like take hands on just organizing and fixing things or designing stuff or just writing things out. So
Yeah.
so she focuses
Loving
on
it.
other pieces.
Loving it.
Amanda, you must.
Or sorry, I didn't want to get anyone in trouble. Or one day a week,
Maybe start half day.
it may be a weekend. I don't know what it is, but she said she won't check emails and things like that. I tend to check emails on my phone late at night or on the weekends, and I know I need to focus on my life outside of work or even while I'm at work, like, you know, just personally, our office just got totally rearranged and we keep putting off like having to organize the files and move things around. And it's just like, I'll get to it. So I plan at least within the next week. One day I will go in, but I won't turn my computer on. And I am just going to focus on the hands-on tasks that I need
Yeah, I love that.
to accomplish that are part of my job as well.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Some people will do, I'm not going to check my email until afternoon. Okay. Not when they first come in. They have things to do, but I'm not going to check my email until the afternoon. And I'm going to check it one time, right? In one chunk. I'm not going to keep getting pinged. Okay. Love that. Okay. What else?
One thing, you know what, and I just realized I did it even now. It's so good. And it's so easy sometimes to give advice to other people, but when you're standing in the mirror and you need to kind of develop yourself or kind of build yourself up, I just realized I did. I said, oh, I don't like to talk about myself. No, you know what? This conference kind of gave me a sense of confidence to kind of not be afraid to show up, not be afraid to kind of talk about my credentials. And, you know, I'm a very humble person. I love people, you know, but not being afraid to show up and show that confidence. And even how Jared was speaking about how the speakers even mentioned, like, I haven't always been this confident. I didn't always show up this way, but being very intentional about how I show up. Not being afraid to say, hey, go on xopconsulting.com and check me out or whatever it is, you know. Just speaking well of myself and just owning that confidence. That's something I'm definitely gonna do from this point on.
But anyway, so I tried to do it in advance. It still was too slow. But anyway, I think I'm gonna like make a vision board because I think like a theme that I saw throughout the conference, throughout like all the speaking events that I went to, was that like people talked about like speaking positive words into existence and then getting positive outcomes, or like, you know, kind of hyping themselves up when they didn't have that confidence, or like finding a mantra or quote that they lived by and things like that. I just saw, it's funny because like I guess my Pinterest is in sync with me, and I just saw Naomi Campbell, like it was a meme, but I liked what she said. But it was like her in the 90s doing an interview, and she said, I make a lot of money and I'm worth every cent, period. Like I like that, you know what I mean? So like finding like some type of motto to live by and maybe creating a vision board, because I used to actually have one in my room, but then I moved, so I kind of gave up on my vision board, like whatever, like, you know, it got destroyed. So maybe like starting that over. It was a collage, so it's real creative. I don't know if I'm gonna be finished on Tuesday, but I might start it.
Love it. The start of a vision board is the start of something.
So I have to be careful the way that I answer this because I realize that all my coworkers. But two things that I would say is, one, asking others how I can help them more often. So I think that if in a lot of the speeches, in the speakers we heard from, we talked about part of leadership and developing as your own professional is allowing others to give you feedback, but also to tell you how you can help them. And that's important to just be willing to listen and say, how can I help you? The second, which is somewhat along the same lines, is acknowledging how others have helped influence my career and have advocated for me to give me leadership opportunities, and me paying that forward. So how do we recognize that there are times in life that where you make a connection for somebody and you let them build that into a production.
Like a sponsor,
Sponsorship.
sponsorship. Yeah.
And that's what this made me realize, that sponsorship and networking is more important now than probably ever before.
Yeah, it's like I've seen it going around, like surround yourself with people who are going to mention your name in a room, right? Like be mindful about that, especially at things like this. When you're with somebody and you're talking, is making that introduction for the other person and opening that door perhaps for them, breaking the ice on behalf of them, and then allowing that relationship to flourish, but also speaking really highly of who you surround yourself with. It goes a long way. We are all critical, right? Like that's just, I think, part of our human nature, but make mention of the great work that people are doing. Again, going back to those thoughts that Mel had about calling his colleague, right, and saying, this is going on, this is happening, this audition's happening. Make sure you put your name in the hat and try your best, right? Okay, so thank you so much. Oh my God, this was amazing. Thank you. And part of the reason why I wanted to build this in is because like that you can't be at 3 places at once. I tried these last 2 days, I tried, but it's nearly impossible. So I wanted you to hear a little bit about not only these individuals' experiences, but to go back, and if you weren't able to catch all the other sessions, to go back and listen to the recordings if they're available. I can't say that they're going to feel like an in-person experience, but at least the content is there, and you can listen while you're on the train and like throw it on the radio, like a podcast, and just enjoy it. But also like check out our podcast too that Amanda puts on, and Justice for All.
Oh, awesome.
The President's podcast, but Amanda produces that. So thank you so much. I wanted to share with you the hashtag Laker Leadership Conference. I think I've written this out. Like I can't even tell you how many times I've written out Laker Leadership Conference in the last year. But I wanted to share with you this experience in collage form. And shout out to Al and Mark from ATS for all of their hard work in making this possible, between just recordings, hybrid events. This is the new frontier. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Nisa, Deanna, photographers. I mean, I have so much thanks to say, but appreciate you. Appreciate you all. So yeah, this is our photo box. I'll send out the link, but this is a highlight reel of everything, everybody who posted like your leadership conference, hashtag like your leadership conference. And I will say, it gives me a great pride to coordinate the Young Professionals Association. The idea of this, if you haven't already heard me say it is, right, that we say a value to our graduates, right, in providing resources and benefits to those who walk across that stage, but they did not walk out of our lives, okay? You're alum, you belong here, you're part of our community for your whole life. So this Young Professionals Association is the first 10 years, right, of plugging you into opportunities to continue to network and come back, stay with us, enjoy, socialize, learn and lead and have professional development opportunities so that you continue to build up who you are and that confidence and your network, and that you continue to meet your goals professionally and personally. So I enjoy that. You all hold the power to lead, influence, and affect positive change in this university and the world. I know it's a big place, but like I said, it's a small world. So you're making things happen every day. Thank you to his sponsors, exhibitors, conference contributors, and everybody who made this event possible. I saw it, I had it on my vision board 2 years ago, okay? When I came here, I had this on my vision board, I'm gonna do this. Then the pandemic threw a little monkey wrench in, and we had the working lunch series, and during that week's lunch series, Davina and Eduardo were both part of 5 speakers I had. And I said, we're going to do this next year. I'm going to speak it into existence. So here it is. And here we did it. So thank you. Thank you to the wonderful volunteers who helped me and this conference flow. And lastly, a huge round of applause for all of our conference speakers and moderators who shared their time and talents with this conference. So Mel, Davina, Aaron, Eric, Jared, Keely, Alex, Davina, or Deanna, Eduardo, Joy, Michelle, Nancy, Sharice, Julie. I wrote them out because I don't want to forget anybody. Julie, Lucretia, Christina, Rhapsody, Brett, Dr. Haywood, Amber, Amanda, Dr. Steeler, Joya, Ashley, Sanaya. 19 moderators, 23 speakers, this great panel. I can't believe it. So thank you. Thank you so much. And we will see you next year, hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully on May 22nd, 23rd. So save the dates. You will be there for sure.
Absolutely.
You already told me. But we will see you around, and look for that post-event survey and a thank you from me. Probably Thursday. So.
And also,
Thank you.
for organizing.
Good job.